Let me tell you, I have tried so many different apps for making checklists, for creating routines, for keeping track of tasks. And yet, the thing that works the best for me is actually an index card or a post-it, a small piece of paper that gets changed out every day. It's way more helpful than an app, even if you're a techie person. I am a techie person, and yet there are many reasons why apps do not work to help us stay organized. But a small piece of paper like an index card or a post-it note really work. Hi, I'm Mystie Winckler, author of the book Simplified Organization: Learn to Love What Must Be Done. My goal is to help as many women as possible become cheerful, effective homemakers. And so often when we feel that desire to improve our skill, to get organized and be better at home, we go hunting for the perfect app, the perfect checklist, the system that we can install in ourselves or in our life that's going to help us flip the switch. And it's just not how it actually works. Let's talk about how it does work. Grab a basket of laundry to fold, and we'll dig in and talk about how to get organized simply and easily. There is nothing that I like more than working all the pieces and parts of a system together so that it just works. It's so fun to me to fill out home routine apps and get everything in its place and then think, all right, now we're ready to hit play and we're off to the races. And yet that's never actually worked for me. So I've tried to simplify and use something like Evernote or Trello or some simpler app, but less specific, to just keep track of all the little things that need to be done. And there are definitely benefits to using apps to keep track of tasks, especially ones that have a deadline in the future that you don't want to forget. You want them to come back on your radar. But the thing is, they don't come back on your radar unless you are actually looking at that app or there for notifications. And sometimes we need to be offline. We need to be unavailable for notifications. And so even if there are notifications, we might miss them. And the problem wasn't the app's fault, and it wasn't really our fault because our attention should not have been on our phone. There are a lot of reasons to go back to good old analog. And when it comes to analog, it is actually much more effective to use simple index cards or post-it notes than some complicated planner system. You don't need a planner that comes prepared with cleaning lists or some kind of Franklin Covey system where you plot out every hour every day. That's just not the way mom life works. And we shouldn't try to be fitting our life into someone else's format. Instead, we really just need to be keeping some notes to self, to keep our head in the game, to keep information written down instead of in our head. And the simpler, the better. Because when our system, when our notes to self, our planning is cheap, simple, and honestly not pretty, it makes us willing to toss it out the window, to iterate and try again, to not be so precious with our plans. When you have notes on an index card, you don't get distracted and actually check Instagram instead of your cleaning list. You don't end up checking your email because you saw a new one come in while you were on there looking at your tasks. Instead, in your back pocket, you have a few notes to self that can help you stay on target during the day. It doesn't matter if it gets coffee on it. It doesn't matter if a kid crimples it, because you're going to toss it and start a new one the next day. No biggie. Index cards make the perfect planner for busy moms with little kids and a lot to do. That's why I'm going to be talking about index cards as planners for my next few episodes. Because we do need to get into kind of the brass tacks, practical nitty-gritty of how to make it work. But the bottom line core reason that we should consider using an index card or a post-it note as the heart of our planner, as maybe the only kind of planner we actually need. And that is, it's messy, it's iterated, and it's easy to remember with an index card or a post-it note that the point is actually the work we're doing and the effect we're having. And the point is not making the planner look particularly nice, reflect a particular image of ourself we would like to have. Keeping our planner on an index card reminds us that we are not creating some kind of scrapbook life. What we have for a planner is not a keepsake that we are creating. We're just scrappy. We're doing the things. We have a lot to keep track of, so we need to write things down. We need to keep moving, and so we just keep it simple with an index card in our back pocket. That we can manage even on the craziest of days. So it might be an index card in our back pocket with our daily top 3 and a few notes to self. It could be a few index cards that we keep on our kitchen windowsill with different work to do and that we rotate through. And it could just be the way that we keep track of what's in our head, getting it out of our head onto paper. And we know the point is not making this turn out a certain way. This is just a temporary holding place where we can store information, get it when we need it, keep it out of our heads so we can problem solve and move forward with more clarity and productivity. So as this series continues, we're going to talk about different ways to use index cards, how to keep track of them and not lose them, and also, all along the way, how to not overcomplicate it. Because it's so tempting to spend time organizing where we're really just trying to make it look beautiful and feel official. And beautiful and official is not the same thing as effective and faithful and fruitful, which is where our attention needs to be. So stick around for this series. Stay tuned because we want to get the right things done with confidence and cheerfulness as moms at home. And I think an index card is a great way to do that. So I have a couple resources that I would love to share with you to help you implement this in different ways. If you need more help with daily effectiveness, with just getting started, with knowing your priorities and keeping track, if a planner has never really worked for you, or you just keep trying a different planner or a different app, just use an index card. I will show you how to use a daily card on an index card or a post-it note to be your most effective daily planner. Super simple. You can get the daily card challenge and do this practice with the guided help by going to simplyconvivial.com/dailycard, all one word. And then I also have the personalized housekeeping guide, which will walk you through figuring out for yourself the home routines you need. Then you just write that on an index card and you will be set. That's also a free guide, and you can go to simplyconvivial.com/cleaning to get that. Both of the links for those resources will be in the show notes. I would love to see you be more equipped to be more effective in your home. And these free resources will help you do just that. Plus, so will our next video on using an index card. The next episode is actually going to be an interview with my friend Abby Wall, who has been using index cards to track everything. No planner, no apps, no phone. So we're going to talk about how she's making that work, why she did it, and what her tips are now that she's been doing it for a few months. So you don't want to miss that episode with Abby, where we talk about managing your cleaning tasks with index cards.